First of all, I'm so excited because we are standing in Dethrone Basecamp that I have personally been working out in for 3 months before they opened, and we'll get into that. But I'm so proud of the community they've built here, and that's why it was really important to me that we had this community-oriented event here. And I want to thank Emporium Thai. Who had the Thai food, the apps? Raise your hand if you had the apps. Yeah, you tried the app. They were like so good. John with Emporium Thai has said that anybody who tweets Emporium Thai will get a special treat. So a special little discount for you guys. So if you tweet Emporium Thai, John, are you here? Here, John, wave. Where are you? So everybody say hi to John. John runs a family-owned business, again, completely about community. I walked in, and it was like the most magnificent feeling to see someone that really cares about their customers, their experience, all their senses from how they're treated to how they enjoy the food. So I'm really proud to be associated with John and Emporium Thai and Dethrone Basecamp. Can I welcome up Ramon? Where's Ramon? So I'm going to hand the mic over to Ramon. I'm so inspired by his story, and I think you guys will be too.
All right, well, first of all, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't invite you guys to a first class for free on Saturday. First one's on us. Come try it out. You absolutely love it. We run class at 8, 9:30, and 11:15. I'm glad you guys are all here. Really thankful that you guys can take advantage of this. As Spree was saying, we're new to this community, but this isn't our first studio. This is actually our third one. The way this whole thing started is our founder, I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the name Nick Swinburne. Has anyone heard that name before? Has anyone heard of the name Nick Swinburne before? No? Okay. So Nick's story is kind of interesting. So has anyone heard of the name Tony Hsieh? Right, you guys have heard of Tony Hsieh. I love this part. So a long, long time ago, a guy walked up to Tony Hsieh and said, hey, I got an idea. And the idea was, I think you can sell shoes online. And Tony was like, that's ridiculous. Everyone's got to like try their shoes on. Like, who's going to do that, right? And so Nick was like, well, wait a second. I don't know if you know, but shoe industry is $40 billion, of which 5% of it is done through direct mail. And this is right around the time that the internet was starting to take off and the idea of e-commerce was becoming just a brand new notion. And so Tony was like, wow, that's actually quite interesting. What do you know about shoes? And Nick was like, I like buying them. And so Tony was like, so you know nothing about shoes other than you like wearing them. And so Nick was like, true. And he's like, you gotta go find someone that knows more about shoes. And so Nick, being Nick, walks into the Nordstrom at San Francisco and looks and he goes, who runs this department? And so it was the guy running the department. He goes, hey, you're hired. Right? And the guy's like, for what? He's like, I'm starting a startup that is going to sell shoes online. That's ridiculous. He's like, trust me, it's going to work. So then he goes and he's like, I'm going to show that you can sell shoes online. So he starts a website. It's like, I think it was called like shoecity.com or something like that. And so what he does is he walks into the local shoe stores and he takes photos of shoes and he puts them online. And so he has the website going, and people start buying shoes online. So they bought shoes, and Nick's like, oh, crap, like what do I do now? So he goes back to the shoe store, buys the shoe, puts them in a box, and sends it to the person. The website made no money. Like, it lost money. But he finally goes back to Tony, he goes, I have people buying shoes online. I'm taking photos, putting them, going to the store. I've proven that you can sell shoes online. So then Tony's like, let's do this, right? And if you read The Pursuit of Happiness, Nick's got like a small little sliver in the entire thing. But like most people, you have your people that have your idea guys, and I think your folks that are able to take a concept and actually turn it into a scalable business. And so that's where kind of the Nick Swinburne, Tony Hsieh relationship started. Long story short, obviously, I think most people are privy to the fact that Amazon came in and then bought Zappos for a stock switch. Nick owned a portion of the company, and he's done all right since then. So how does this all connect with where you guys are sitting right now? So Nick, being an idea guy, since his Zappos days, started a bunch of different companies, most of them tech. But there was two things that weren't tech that he really liked. One was UFC fighting, and the other one was working out. And so he started a clothing line that I think maybe a handful of people have heard of. Has anyone here heard of Dethrone Royalty? I got one person here. I was hoping for like 3 hands, but I'll deal with just one. So he started this clothing line, Dethrone Royalty. He sponsored mixed martial art fighters. And so he had this warehouse in Northern California where occasionally the fighters would swing by the studio. And so Nick was, of course, into fitness as well and doing a bunch of different things. And he was into CrossFit. And he had just heard himself doing CrossFit. And he was pretty bummed out about it. And so the guys were like, hey, we got this way of working out I think you might enjoy. And so it involves this aerosol bike. And what we do is we sprint on it for a minute, and then we get off of it, and then we wrestle each other for a minute. And we do this back and forth for 30 minutes. And Nick was like, I have no desire to do this. And they kept asking him, and then it turned into like, are you tough enough? Are you tough enough? And so Nick one day is like, I'm going to do it. Absolutely loves the bike. He hated wrestling sweaty men. And so then he goes back to his warehouse, buys a bunch of equipment, sets this little like experiment pod, and he starts doing it, but with normal stuff like TRX, all the equipment you see around here. And he found himself getting in really good shape, starts inviting friends love the format, and this is where an idea guy is a very unique thing. Like, he got tired of writing workouts on a whiteboard. So he used to write 15 workouts, and he would tell people what to do. And he had started getting like 20 people showing up, and he was like, if you know Nick, he's kind of a quiet guy, so he didn't really like telling people what to do. So he goes to a developer and he goes, hey, I'm sick and tired of this. And the developer's like, I got an idea. So that's why the TV screens are all over the place. We project an app that we don't sell, that stores videos. We're able to create workouts. We project it on the screen, and it serves as like a point of reference while you're taking class, right? And then the only next thing that happened was he always wanted a gym next to his house. So he ends up opening this first studio in Burlingame. And he just was curious to see what would happen. And without any experience running brick and mortar, they opened it up, and it actually got members. Like, no marketing, it was just in a really good location. When I showed up, and this is where it's going. I know you're like, where the heck is this guy going? But I imagine it's a little bit different, I think. So we're brick and mortar, but people like Nigel and Ray, we're pretty much in this like startup mindset. I didn't start with Nick. I was, before that, I covered emerging markets for the Capital Group companies. And then from that, I ran pricing for 24-Hour Fitness. And I had a mentor, the CEO of 24-Hour Fitness, Carl Liebert. We got along really well. And he goes, hey, if you ever want to know brick and mortar, like, you got to go run an actual like place. And I was like, sure, whatever. And so I'll do it. I can tell you that there is no class that you could ever take that teaches you how to manage millennials, like in a big like box. And I did it for a year, and then I was like, get me the heck out of here. Like, and so from that, through my network, I ran across Nick. And so we were talking, and I walked in, and I was like, man, this is a really cool experience. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I like it. He's like, I think I want to build more of these things. And so I was like, well, here's how it's different. I was like, can I be honest with you? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you're running this like crap. I was like, your pricing sucks, your people don't know sales, blah, 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 blah. I was like, and you're sitting on this like really unique concept. And so we started talking, and he goes, well, I want to build more of these. And I was like, well, do you know what that takes? And he's like, no, I've been having this other guy randomly work on this thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready to try something new. And so as a result of that, he said, how much do you need to build these things? I have no clue. I was like, and so we started the process. And finally what came down to it is people were used to working with him, and he would just put money. And for the first time ever, I was like, hold us accountable. I was like, give me a budget, and we'll build 6 new gyms. And he's like, okay. And so gave us a budget to build 6 new gyms. And you quickly start to realize the startup life and how difficult that is and how much you have to sell yourself to other people and build up the brand. And the tough decisions that you have to make and the sacrifices you have to do. And it's not easy to actually get people to want to believe in you. And so you make a lot of hard decisions. So for ourselves, like, we were going to do 6, now we're going to do 5, because you start to realize the adjustments you have to make along the way. But that whole story is, I think it's unique to you guys in the sense that a lot of the times I think you might, there's startup going all around you, and the same struggles that you guys are going through. I think there's a lot of different concepts that are going through the same. No one knew who we were in Santa Monica, and through creative ways of marketing, that's how we met Esprit. We bought her groceries at the co-op because I hate direct mail. Like, I hate going to my car and seeing a direct mail piece on my car. It like angers me because like I have the option of putting it in my car or littering, right? And I hate it. And so from that, we were like, rather than spending money on direct mail, I'm gonna go walk into Phil's and buy the next 30 people coffee, because at least I can talk to them. I'm gonna go be different, remarkable. I'm gonna go find that one person that, rather than like blanket myself out there, I'm gonna go create a genuine relationship and see if I can find an early adopter that is then an influencer and a sneezer. And that's how we kind of learned about building community, because up until about a few minutes ago, you probably didn't know what Dethrone Basecamp was, right? And now you're sitting here talking to me, and you're surrounded by these walls, and you have no choice but to learn about us, right? And all that was from a very calculated move to try to get to know somebody so that they could influence a community to come show up here. So I just thought that'd be an interesting story for you guys, how from nothing, I think we created something, and we're really excited about it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening us out, hearing us out. And if you guys have any questions, we're around, but have a good time today. So.